This 10-year-old little girl is actually about to perform surgery on the captain of an airplane. Out of the blue, the captain collapses into a deep coma with white foam gushing from his mouth. The girl feels that his neck has become stiff. She opens his mouth and finds that his trachea is blocked. She quickly asks the co-pilot what the captain had eaten before. The co-pilot is startled when he sees this scene and quickly says, "Wait a minute, kid. Don't do anything rash." Yui Tershima immediately puts on a stern face and says, "Don't treat me like a child. Age is just a number. So tell me quickly, what exactly did the captain eat just now?" There is no doctor on the plane now, so the co-pilot has no choice but to take a wild guess and says that the captain had coffee, but there were nuts in it. Yui immediately realizes that the captain is suffering from anaphylactic shock due to the nuts. She removes the captain's tie and asks Tetsuya, her assistant, "Do we have an adrenaline syringe?" Tetsuya replies, "No way, I'm carrying something like that around." Yui then quickly asks the co-pilot, "How long is it until we land?" The co-pilot says that they can land at the earliest in 15 minutes. The captain is in shock due to an allergic reaction, and now his brain is not getting enough oxygen supply. He will become a vegetable in just 5 minutes. Yui must perform the surgery immediately. But the scalpel and hemostatic forceps are all in the checked luggage, and there are simply no suitable tools available at the moment. Yui has a sudden idea and says, "Give me the wine opener and the oxygen mask." Tetsuya immediately brings her the tools. Yui puts on gloves, cuts the tube on the mask with the wine opener, makes an opening half a finger below the Adam's apple, and then inserts the tube to release the air. The captain's chest rises and falls, and he gradually regains his vital signs and wakes up. Now that the surgery is done, it's time to deal with the aftermath. Tetsuya asks the co-pilot to sign a surgical confidentiality agreement and pay a reward of 100 million yen plus chocolates. These are the 3 conditions for hiring Yui to perform the surgery. No matter what the illness is, as long as these conditions are met, Yui can bring the patient back from the brink of death. She is known as Dr. Chocolate, and the two are back in the country this time to do something really important. The 10-year-old Yui is actually a genius doctor. Tetsuya receives an invitation for a second surgery. The patient is a politician who is preparing to run for prime minister. He looks decent on the outside, but last night, he hired 2 street girls and exhausted his physical strength. He just can't wake up. Such a ridiculous thing must never be known to anyone else, so they can only invite Dr. Chocolate to treat him. Since the patient is a politician, there can be no room for the slightest mistake. Tetsuya hastily assembles a surgical team. They are all top-notch medical talents who were fired from their original hospitals and blacklisted from the entire industry because of unspeakable reasons and can no longer practice medicine. They are willing to do anything as long as they are paid. After the examination, it is found that the politician has a brainstem cavernous hemangioma. Due to his overly intense activities last night, the hemangioma ruptured and caused intracerebral hemorrhage. They need to cut open the lateral sulcus of the midbrain by 7 millimeters to remove the tumor. This location is very dangerous. If the hand shakes even a little, it will cut into the brainstem and blood vessels, causing immediate total paralysis. This is a surgery of extremely high difficulty. Everyone sees that Tetsuya is wearing a prosthetic right hand and thinks that he definitely can't be Dr. Chocolate. That night, a van arrives at a private hospital. At this moment, the wards around the operating room have been cleared. After everyone has prepared all the tools, Yui finally arrives late. Tetsuya introduces her to everyone. She is Dr. Chocolate. Everyone is shocked. A child is a doctor? How is that possible? She is so young, she probably can't even read all the words properly. Is this a joke? Yui steps on a box and tells everyone seriously, life is precious and there's only one for each person. It's equal for everyone. Give me the scalpel. The nurse beside her stands there in a daze, feeling as if she is just playing house with a child and doesn't move for a long time. Yui speaks again. During the surgery, you have to follow the instructions of the operating doctor. Give me the scalpel. Now that the situation is urgent and there's no turning back, the nurse hands the scalpel to Yui, always feeling like she is helping a criminal. The talented girl Yui makes the incision with great dexterity, more professionally than a professional doctor. Everyone is shocked again, but they suddenly feel more confident. This little girl is really something. In the second step, Yui uses a bipolar electric knife to stop the bleeding. The surgical scissors and the electric drill are used together to open the skull. Yui remains calm throughout the process, and her movements are very agile. These assistants can't help but praise her. Just as Yui's about to remove the tumor, Tetsuya's phone rings. It's a female journalist, and guess what? The politician on the operating table, he's the very guy who murdered Yui's family. Just 2 years ago, when Yui's father had just become the hospital director, he wanted to expose the inside story of the hospital's collusion with politicians. And this politician is the one right in front of Yui. On Halloween 2 years ago, Yui's family held a masquerade party. The gas pipe was cut and the gas was leaking quietly in the corner. In the tens of seconds before the explosion, Yui saw the true face of the murderer, and on the murderer's arm, there was a DNA double helix tattoo. Then the gas exploded, and Yui's parents both passed away. Tetsuya desperately carried Yui out of the burning building, but as soon as they got out, the house exploded a second time and Tetsuya lost his right hand as a result. Later, Tetsuya went to the police, but the police closed the case hastily on the grounds that there was no evidence left at the explosion scene. Tetsuya was Yui's father's apprentice, so he could only take Yui and conduct the investigation privately, but they were hunted down, and the two of them had to stay abroad to avoid the limelight. Now, in the operating room, Yui, who has learned the truth, takes off her gloves while crying. She doesn't want to save such a bad person, especially the one who killed her parents. Tetsuya reminds Yui, "Your father taught you that life is precious, and there's only one for each person. It's equal for everyone. Have you forgotten that?" Yui lowers her eyes and her tears roll into her mask. She asks stubbornly, "Do you think that if Dad knew the patient was the one who killed him, he would still save the patient, right?" To be honest, Tetsuya doesn't know either. But for Yui, she shouldn't lose her kindness at such a young age. The person Yui is going to save is actually the murderer who killed her parents. Tetsuya tells her, "If your father were the one performing the surgery, he would definitely put aside his hatred and save the patient first." Yui is convinced by Tetsuya. In her eyes, her parents are more important than her own life. She picks up the tools again and starts to remove the tumor. In her mind, scenes of her father teaching her medical knowledge emerge. As long as she answered the questions correctly, she would get a piece of chocolate. These are the sweetest memories she has with her parents. That's why she always asks for chocolates after every surgery. After the surgery is over, everyone gets a reward of 10 million yen. Yui distributes the liqueur chocolates to everyone and they all enjoy them together. Tetsuya doesn't stay idle either. He tells the politician's son what his father has done and asks the politician to withdraw from the prime ministerial election. The son is a bit shocked, but he is different from his father and will definitely not abet an evildoer. The second the politician wakes up, his son spills the beans about Yui's parents. The politician's face turns ashen and his reaction practically screams that he's the mastermind. But out of the blue, the politician offs himself the next day. Tetsuya scratches his head in confusion. Why would a scumbag like him suddenly develop a conscience? It just doesn't add up. But what really blows Tetsuya's mind is that one of the surgical team members has a DNA tattoo on his arm. Could this guy be the gas explosion killer? But Yui saw the killer's face. How could she have missed this? The answer lies with the third patient. This patient is the female boss of a gang. She's got an adrenal tumor squeezing the inferior vena cava. Her legs are swollen like balloons, and she's on the verge of lower body paralysis. The surgery is set in an abandoned factory. After signing the confidentiality agreement, Yui strides into the surgery site. The chief surgeon for this operation is a 10-year-old girl. When the female boss's goons see this, they go ballistic. "I shelled out a fortune, and you send me a snot-nosed kid to do the surgery? You gotta be kidding me!" Yui swats his hand away. "Don't treat me like a baby. Age is just a number." But these thugs aren't buying it. They pull out their guns, snarling, "Enough! We're not playing games here." The female boss, sensing the chaos, barks, "Put your guns away. I'm on my last legs, and this is my only shot." After the female boss is knocked out, Yui climbs onto a box to start the operation. She slices open the surface with an electrode knife. Just then, a man in black bursts in, guns blazing, and attacks the gang. And guess what? He's got a DNA tattoo on his arm. The surgical team nearly jumps out of their skins, but Yui, as cool as a cucumber, calmly barks, "Everyone, focus!" She uses a unipolar electric knife to remove the tumor and then preps for suturing. Suddenly, the vital signs monitor goes haywire. The female boss's blood pressure plummets below 80. There's a bleeding point in her brain. An assistant whips up a 3D brain map and figures out it's one of the hepatic veins. But there are so many veins and they're running out of time. Yui, though, zeroes in on the bleeding spot just by looking at the blood flow and starts suturing. Then disaster strikes. The round needle is way too thick. It's going to tear the blood vessel. They need a smaller one, but the nurse didn't bring it. The glasses-wearing assistant has a brilliant idea. She snatches the hairpin from her hair, bends it open with pliers, and sterilizes it with a blowtorch. Shaping it into a round needle, she hands it to Yui, saving the day. Suddenly, the man in black kicks down the operating room door. In his hands, a huge gun. Panic grips the room. This is it, right? Game over? But then he collapses. The female boss's goons pounce on him. Finally realizing they underestimated Yui, they hand over a piece of chocolate, oozing with cocoa goodness. Turns out, this guy is the gas explosion killer. 2 days ago, he found out Yui was still alive and chased her here. Tetsuya demands, "Why did you kill Yui's parents?" The killer smirks. "I took out the politician to throw you off the trail." Tetsuya figures out there's someone pulling the strings behind the scenes. Just then, the team member with the tattoo rolls up his sleeve. "Mine's just a sticker. I put it on because it looked cool." Scared of being mistaken for the killer, he fessed up after seeing the real deal. Tetsuya drags the journalist to a tattoo parlor. The boss spills, "This tattoo's been popular since 2 years ago, but someone swiped the customer list." None other than the female gang boss. She was hunting for the gas man. The gas man was a gang member who broke the rules, taking jobs on the side. He killed Yui's parents, and the female boss's dad booted him out. In revenge, the gas man killed the boss's dad. That's why she was after the customer list. She wanted payback. Right then, Tetsuya spots the gas man strolling free. He gives a cocky grin and takes off. Tetsuya sprints after him thinking, why was he released so fast? There must be a mole in the police. Meanwhile, at the concert, Yui and the team notice the singer is a no-show. The Memory Whiz team member remembers seeing a pill on the floor. They race to find it. Yui examines the pill. It's a super strong painkiller, proof the singer's in bad shape. The pill's by the toilet door. The glasses girl tries to open it, but the singer's unresponsive. Lucky for them, she picks the lock with a coin. Yui tests the singer's hearing. Deaf in the left ear, classic brain tumor symptom. The manager calls an ambulance, but it's 20 minutes out. The singer's on borrowed time. Yui's got to operate now. But without a confidentiality agreement, she's at risk of exposure. What's she gonna do? This film is the first 3 episodes of the Japanese drama Dr.Chocolate. The idea of a 10-year-old genius doctor is mind-blowing. If you want more, drop a 1 in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, smash that like button and subscribe. Catch you next time.